I'm Mike, and this is Will. We are the Tabletop Donkeys. Hello. And in this issue, we're bringing you issue 72 of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Mortal Realms today. And this issue we got Lady Olynder, the Mortarch of Grief, the leader of the Nighthaunt forces. And if you'd like to see her on the battlefield, you can skip ahead to the battle report with the time code in the description or using the chapter bars. As always, we'll have a quick look through the issue first. So first up we have had some background on Lady Olynder herself, but he'll have more of it here. So she is a powerful undead wizard. She is surrounded by an aura of despair and misery, which she is able to direct this aura of despair to her foes, leaving them helpless before her forces and her magical might, and a few warriors have the courage to stand up against such a dreaded being. And there you can see her model there, how she's followed by her Banshee handmaidens, who carry some of the gifts given to her by Nagash, and how she's the leader, the overall leader of the Nighthaunt forces, being the Mortarch of Grief, and how here at the Battle of Lake Lethis she fought against the Serpent Prime himself, and was able to defeat him by causing him to rapidly age and die. And we have more background, more of the Stormcast Eternals heavy cavalry, the Fulminators. These ones are armed with Stormstrike glaives, which they can either use like lances as heavy shock cavalry. While charging, they can twirl the Stormstrike glaives, which creates a magical barrier to protect them from missile fire. And you can see how some of the models there and how they are used as sort of heavy shock cavalry to break through enemy lines, but can also be used to draw enemy fire using their protective shields. Then more history of the Great Parch during the Age of Chaos, doing one about the mages of Asperia being besieged by the forces of Tzeentch and the forces of Khorne. The forces of the two Chaos Gods eventually turned on each other, and how the forces of Khorne, the various tribes, are continuing to conquer the lands, slowly whittling away at the faithful of Sigmar. In fact, even Khorne himself manifested a giant fist to destroy a floating island of the Aqshy. Eventually a lord by the name of Lord Zaranax rose to greatness, calling himself the Hand of the Everchosen, as he was sent by Archaon himself. Archaon at this point is coordinating the invasions of chaos of the mortal realms from the 8 points, a sort of nexus that links all the realms. Now the build guide for Lady Olynder, like many Nighthaunt units, you need to be careful because there's quite a few flimsy parts, particularly her staff and sort of trail of vine with roses that goes around. It actually goes sort of around her, and then you glue her robe together, enclosing part of it, so that it goes down in between it. It's quite easy to snap off at that point, so you do need to be careful. But otherwise she's relatively easy to put together, and she has some nice little details on her base. And then the painting guide is again very similar to the other Nighthaunt, mostly Nihilakh oxide over white. And the Banshees are very similar to the Dreadscythe Harridans. Just a few little things to note are the sort of gold decorations of her headdress, and the little chest and hourglass that were gifted to her by Nagash. We can see her model there, and I'll hand you over to Will so we can look at her war scroll and then get into our game.
Of course, we have the War Scroll for Lady Olynder. She has 7 wounds, 4+ save, and 10 bravery. Her primary weapon is the Staff of Midnight, which has a 2-inch range with 3 attacks that hit on 3s and wound on 3s. They have a Ren -2 and do d3 damage. Her Banshee handmaidens can also make 6 attacks, hitting on 4s and wounding on 4s, doing 1 damage. They also do a mortal wound on 6, like a Spirit Host. And then she has many special rules. Obviously she has Ethereal and she can fly. Frightful Touch is what I just described. Grave Sands of Time means that once per battle in the hero phase, she can either inflict d6 mortal wounds on an enemy hero within 6 inches, or instead heal d6 wounds that have been allocated to her. Lifting the Veil, at the start of the hero phase, you can pick an enemy unit within 12 inches and roll a dice. On a 1, nothing happens, and on a 2+, that unit suffers that many mortal wounds. And if that slays any models, then Lady Olynder regains d3 wounds. Her Mortarch of Grief ability means that enemy units within 12 inches that fail a battle shock test lose an additional model. Wail of the Damned is a bit like the Tomb Banshee's ability, except that it affects everything within 10 inches, and if you roll over their bravery on the 2d6, they suffer d3 mortal wounds rather than the difference. She's also a wizard, and a very powerful one, because she can cast 2 spells and unbind 2 spells in a hero phase. She has her own spell called Grief Stricken, which has a casting value of 7 and an 18-inch range. The target enemy unit has to subtract 1 from hit rolls until your next hero phase, and for the same period, your units get +1 to hit that unit. And she also has her own command ability, which she can only use if she's the general, but it's definitely worth it because it allows you to return 1 slain model to every friendly summonable Nighthaunt unit within 12 inches when she uses it. And that's whole models, so a whole Spirit Host or a whole Hex Wraith, for example. And on the back there's just a tutorial for some of these, so lifting the Veil, killing a model and healing herself d3 wounds. Wail of the Damned with the area effect, doing D3 mortal wounds to units you roll over their bravery, and then the No Rest for the Wicked command ability. We have the background for today's game, so obviously Lady Olynder herself has arrived in the Realm of Fire and is taking command of all the Nighthaunt forces there, frustrated at her underlings' lack of progress. I mean, there's a little bit of story here, and Knight of Shrouds even goes to greet her and she just evaporates him with a gesture, not interested in niceties. So here on our strategic overview map, you can see there where she has arrived and is leading the assault on Stormcast territory. Meanwhile, elsewhere, a detachment of Vanguard Stormcast have launched a high-speed strike on an ancient tomb, hearing that their Nighthaunt are excavating something over there. And also, an assault of the Stormcast Eternals on the Forge of Rexxar itself is turned back with the help of a Necromancer, who then makes a deal with the Nighthaunt to create a Mortis engine for them, which we might see coming up in later games. And as usual, we have our forces lists that we get to pick from this mission, hero and troops choices. A little bit more background. You will note that does count as 2 hero choices, being quite powerful. And here is the battle plan, Midnight Falls. The Stormcast Eternals are trying to hold the line faced with a spearhead led by the Mortarch of Grief herself. And that's represented on the battle map. We've got the Nighthaunt have a chevron-like deployment area extending to the centre of the board from the 2 corners along one of the long edges, and then the Stormcast have 2 triangles meeting in the middle of the board but going up to the edge of the short edges, as you can see there. And there are 3 objectives near the Stormcast deployment zones. The Nighthaunt starts setting up, and then the game lasts for 5 battle rounds. At the end of any battle round, if the Nighthaunt player controls all 3 objectives, though, the battle ends early, and if the battle ends when they're in control of all 3 objectives, then the Nighthaunt win. If when the game ends instead the Stormcast Eternals control 2 or more objectives, then they win, and any other result is a draw. And then finally, for the armies, both sides have 4 picks from the heroes list and 6 from their troops list. Doesn't specify that Lady Olynder is a mandatory pick, but obviously we're going to include her in this game. So we'll show you the armies we have come up with, and then set up the board and show you our deployment, and then get straight into the game. So here's my Stormcast army. My 3 hero choices, we've got Astrea Soulbright in the middle, Zandra Azurbolt, the Knight Incantor, and the Lord Ordinator. He's part of the Hailstrike battery, with a unit of 4 Castigators and a Star Ballista behind him, 2 units of 5 Sequitors in the middle, and then on the left, 3 Retributors and a unit of 5 Judicators. The Lord Ordinator will be my general, so that he can have a command trait. He'll take the one that gives me an extra command point. Strategic Genius. He'll also have the Relic Blade artifact, and because I have a Warscroll battalion I get a second artifact, so Zandra Azurbolt is going to have the Phoenix Stone, allowing her to heal wounds. And here is the Nighthaunt army.
Yeah, so we've got Lady Olynder in the middle, who is going to be my general. She's flanked by Spirit Torment and the Guardian of Souls. Then for my units, I've got 2 units of Bladegeist Revenants, a unit of Dreadside Harridans, and a unit of Hexwraiths as the sort of normal core units I always take. The Chainghasts are here to aid the Spirit Torment's aura projection, and the Mindmaw Banshees I brought just in case Stormcast decided to go for Cleansing Phalanx, but even without that they still get +1 time binding rolls, which is always handy. Lady Olynder will be my general, so she can't have a command trait because she's a named character, but I can still give the Spirit Torment the Black Amulet. Since I won the previous game I got a Triumph. Number 2, which is a reroll wounds again.
So here's our table set up. We've deployed 4 pieces of terrain, which is what it suggests, as you can see here, so just to give you a pan across.
Over here we've got the Time-Worn Ruins, which are always deadly, as is that bell tower over there. And then we have an Arcane Sigmar statue in the Nighthaunt territory, and a sinister set of Stormvault Ruins over here near the Stormcast deployment. And obviously, being the Realm of Fire, everything's also volcanic. You can see the 3 objectives there in front of the Stormcast deployment zone, and I'll show you their deployment first. So near the leftmost objective, we've got the Hailstorm Battery, there the Castigators and the Ballista and the Lord Ordinator, and a unit of Sequitors, and then the Retributors close to the middle objective, as I could get them. And the other side is similar, we've got the Astrea Soulbright and Zandra Azurbolt close to the objectives, another unit of Sequitors and my unit of Judicators. And then the Nighthaunt deployment.
Front I've got the Dreadside Harridans with Lady Olynder next to them. And then behind them are the 2 units of Bladegeist with the Guardian of Souls behind them. The Mindmaw Banshees hanging back a little bit as a sort of reserve. And then just to the left is the Spirit Torment behind the statue next to the Hexwraiths.
So then we just need to roll off to see who gets first turn. I've rolled 3.
I've only got 1.
And I'm going to make the Nighthaunt go first, because the game might end at the end of a battle round, so I definitely want to have the chance to stop them holding objectives. So we'll be on to Nighthaunt turn 1.
Mystic Shield is the only spell that's going to be in range, so Lady Olynder might as well try and cast it, needing a 5 I think it is.
6.
Oh, double 1, off to a good start. For my movement, everyone sort of ran or moved up, and we sort of shifted the formation to go towards the Stormcast left flank. Maybe try to spread out a little bit in case Astrea tries to charge. I get the feeling a lot of things are going to get blown up soon though. That'll be my turn. The chain guard's not going to be in range to shoot anything.
So on to Stormcast turn. So I will be up to 3 command points. I started with 2 for the Warscroll Battalion and the Lord Ordinator's command trait. Stress Albright is going to try and cast Mystic Shield, needing a 6. Not getting an 11. I might as well try and unbind.
Well, my Mon Banshees aren't in range, so I'll try and unbind with the Lady Olynder with a 12. No, it's a 7.
And then Zandra Azubot will try and cast Spirit Storm, needing a 7. Getting a 12, so that can't actually be unbound. So there's nothing within 18 to do mortal wounds to, but that aura of -1 run and charge might come in handy. And a Mystic Shield will I put on the Retributors. And then for my movement, I just moved up a little bit with my foot troops just to provide a screen around the objectives here and in front of the ranged units. Astrea Solbright and Zandria Azubot have moved over to the centre of the board. Zandria ran to get there. And on the other flank, we just moved the Secretors forward a bit and the Judicators shuffling left to hopefully get in range of some stuff. In the shooting phase, we'll start with the unit of Castigators. They are all in range of that unit of Dreadside Harridans at the front there. Normal procedure will be always power to accuracy. Increased rend is relevant. Prime hits on a 2 with the black dice, the others hit on 3s. 6s are 2 6s, which are d3 hits each. So 2 plus 3, so 5 hits total. These wound on 3s. No, they all wound.
4 plus saves for Harridans. Made 3. Ignoring damage on 6s. No, 2 dead. Take away those 2.
And the Ballista is in range to fire the 4-shot profile at them. We're hitting on 4s re-rolling because the Lord Ordinator is nearby and I hit them with the Castigators from the same Warscroll Battalion. Well, they all hit. It's d6 hits each. 15. Wounding on 3s.
10 4 pluses. Made 3. Gonna need to roll a lot of 6s. Didn't get any, so the Harridans are wiped out.
And then the Judicators are all just about in range of that unit of Blade Guard's Revenants over there, so they'll shoot at them. Start with the Shockbolt Bow, hits on a 3. It hits d6 times 2. The other ones, prime hits on a 2, the others on 3s. So 5 hits total, wounding on 3s. 3 wounds.
4 plus saves. Made 1. Nori on 6s. Nope.
2 Blade Guards are dead. And that's it for my turn. So we're on to the next battle round. Rolling off once again. 1.
I rolled a 4, so I think I'll choose to go first.
So on to Nighthaunt turn 2.
I'm going to start spellcasting with the Guardian of Souls. Going to try and cast Spectral Law, needing a 6. Gets it with a 12.
I'm not going to attempt to unbind that. Well, I can't unbind that.
Going to bring back D6 Bladegeists. 5. Well, they both come back.
So that unit's back to full strength now.
Lady Olynder will try and cast her Grief-Stricken spell. Needing a 7. Getting a double 1 again. And then she'll try and cast Fireball as well, needing a 5. Getting it with an 11.
No. Well, I'll try and unbind that on a 12 with Astrea, I suppose. No.
I'll put that on the Sequitors. D3 mortal wounds, 2.
Okay, which will be reduced to 1 because I'll use my Cycle of the Storm to keep them large. So I'll do this Sequitor here, I'll be down to 1 wound.
So my movement phase, there's a general advance. So the Hex Race moved up normally so they can charge. The Spirit Torments run so you can get up behind them. Then Lady Olynder ran so she can get as many Stormcasts as possible within range of her Shriek. And the Blade Geist coming with the Guardian of Souls running so he fills in behind. The other Blade Geist and the Mammal Banshees moving up normally as well. And the Chain Guards hanging around at the back so they can still shoot. So at the start of the shooting phase I have to do Lady Olynder's Shriek ability.
So all of the Stormcast that you can see here are in range of within 10 inches. Conveniently, all my 3 characters in range are Bravery 9 and all the units are Bravery 7.
At the left, I suppose, the Castigators. That's an 8, so they take D3 mortal wounds. For 2.
So that'll kill a Castigator.
Do the Ballista. No. Lord Ordinator. Yes.
Oh, he takes D3 mortal wounds.
3.
So he's down to 2 wounds remaining.
Secretors. No. Retributors. No.
No, Bravery 7.
Knight Azeros. No. Knight Incantor. No. And Astrea. Yes. D3 mortal wounds. Just 1.
So she's down to 6. So the Lord Ordinator is down to 2 wounds and we've lost a Castigator.
Then the Chain Guards are going to throw their Ghast Flails at the Secretors. 2d3 shots for 3. Hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s because of the Spirit Torment. 2 hits. Wounding on 2s. 2 wounds, minus 2 rend.
6 plus saves, rerolling 1s. Made neither. So that's 2 damage, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that kills this Sector and leaves the one on the other end on 1 wound.
In the charge phase, the Hex Race will charge. I do get -1 to this roll. So a 4 becomes a 3. That is enough to get them into something, so...
They were just over 3 inches away, so that is enough to get them in.
I'll leave it at that for charging. I think if I charge the Blade Geist in, I'll just get smushed by those heroes and the Retributors, so I'll pick the Hexwraiths to go first.
Well, before that, the Secretors will do power to shield.
I'll pile in so we can get 3 on the Lord Ordinator, and the other 2 have to go into the Secretors. So, we've got 7 side attacks on the Lord Ordinator. These are hitting on 4s, rolling 1s, and 6s do mortal wounds. Well, there's no 6s yet. Reroll all those 1s. Getting 4 hits. These wound on 3s. Getting 3 at -1.
He only has a 4+ save, so 5+ with that. Oh, he made 3 5s, okay, well.
And horses hitting on 4s, rolling 1s. Well, they get 6s. They get 3 hits. And wounding on 5s. 1 wound.
With a 4+. No, he's alright still.
And then the other Hexwraiths on the Secretors. 4 attacks. 4s, rolling 1s. Well, there's a mortal wound there and a hit. Rerolling, getting another mortal wound. That wounds on a 3, and it does.
So a 5+ save, rerolling 1s, 2s, and 3s. Oh, I made 5. So it's just 2 mortal wounds so far.
4 attacks from horses. Rerolling 1s, hitting on 4s, getting 3 hits as well. Wounding on 5s, getting another wound.
4+, rerolling. No, the horse did a wound, so 3 wounds. So 3 wounds, well, we'll actually lose the prime because she does not have a big weapon. And then all these units get to hit back. I guess I'll do the Secretors first, so that one will just pile in like that. 4 attacks, hitting on 3s, 6s cause D3 hits. We've just got 2 normal hits. Wounding on 3s, 2 wounds.
4+ saves, made 1. There is 1 within 6 probably of the Spirit Torment, so I'll do something, trying to ignore some damage. No.
Do the Lord Ordinator next. He has 6 attacks, hitting on 4s, but if he rolls 2 or more 6s, then they'll also take D3 mortal wounds after the attacks have been resolved. Well, he didn't, but he did get 4 hits. Wounding on 3s. No, only 1. It's 2 damage because of his relic, but...
4+ save. Nope.
Yeah, so...
Take that one away.
Well, and the Castigators were still within 3 inches, so they might as well pile in, and the Prime will have his attack. 2 attacks on 4s. No, nothing. We're fighting, onto the Battle Shock phase.
Yeah, I'm going to use the Spirit Torment to bring back one of the dead Hexwraiths.
And I will spend a command point to prevent those Secretors from having to take one, because they will lose an extra model because they're near Lady Olynder, so we definitely don't want to be failing that. But then that'll be the end of the Nighthaunt turn, so we'll be on to Stormcast turn 2. So in my hero phase again, command point, Australia will start the spellcasting with an Arcane Bolt, needing a 5, getting a 4, so she fails, and Zandria will try and do Spirit Storm, needing a 7. She also, oh, no, she gets it with a 7.
I'll try and combine with the Mindwall Banshees, because there's 4 of them that get +1. I rolled an 8 anyway, so I don't need it.
And also in the hero phase, Australia's going to spend command point to use Blazing Fervour on herself, giving her +1 to charge rolls. Well, I think we're just going to have to go for the all-out counter charge here. So the frontline units that was unengaged are moved up. Adjudicators just inched forward a little bit. The Ballista has shuffled further towards the middle of the board to stay away from the carnage on the left flank, and all those units are going to stay engaged. So in the shooting phase, the Castigators have to shoot at the Hexwraiths. 4 shots, black dice hits on 2, otherwise on 3s. Well, we've got 3 6s, 3d3, so that's 6 total, plus the one from the Prime. Wounding on 3s, only 4.
4 pluses, made 3. Yeah, I'll put the wound on the guy within range to try and ignore. No.
Guy on the end takes a wound, and they're as good a target for the Ballista as any, so I might as well do that with the re-rolling. But it has moved out of 9 of the Lord Ordinator, so we're hitting on 5s re-rolling. Well, it's still pretty good, we can re-roll those. Yeah, we should do it 2 hits. D6 each. No, only 4. Wounding on 3s. 3 wounds.
4+ saves, made 1. We'll do the guys on... I'll do 1. No. So he takes a wound and dies.
Yeah, the wounded one's dead.
And then I'll put the other one on... yeah, the guy next to him, who was also within 6. He doesn't ignore it either. So that one dies and the other one takes a wound.
And the Adjudicators are going to shoot at that unit of Blade Geist Revenants that they shot at last turn. Shockbolt bow hits d6 times, 2. Other bows hit 4 times between them. Wounding on 3s, 4.
4+ saves, made 3. Ignoring damage on a 6. No.
Then we're on to the charge phase, and we'll start with Australia because she's the important one. She gets +1 to this roll. She can also re-roll if it's a fail because of her Thunderous Pounce. Well, no, it's not that, but her Dracoline, so she gets an 8. You can re-roll any charge rolls, but she doesn't need to. She gets her right into the middle of the Nighthaunt like that. And in a similar vein, Zandria Azubot's going to charge as well. Her roll is a 6. And she'll charge over here, getting up to Lady Olynder there. And we'll also have the Secretors and the Retributors charging, so I'll roll both of those. Secretors probably need about a 4, they got an 8. Retributors get an 11. And then, so the Secretors charge into that one unit of Blade Geist Revenants. The Retributors get one model within half an inch of the other one, staying more than 3 inches away from the explosion zone of the Spirit Flasks. And then we will be into the fight phase. Well, we'll spend a command point from Australia first of all to give that unit of Secretors on the right-hand flank both power to weapons and shields. And we are going to blow up all 3 Spirit Flasks on both characters, so there's plenty of mortal wounds to go around.
Well, it's going to be a lot of ignoring wounds, hopefully. So Lady Olynder on 6s. She ignores 2.
He's only down to 6 wounds.
The Blade Geist next to her, 3 of them die. That's all of Xandria's. So then the Blade Geists again from Australia. Now they're all dead. The other Blade Geists ignore 1. The Guardian of Souls doesn't ignore any. The Chain Ghasts don't ignore any. And the Mindwall Banshees ignore 1.
Alright, clears out an awful lot of Nighthaunt, and then in the fight phase proper, I'll pick Australia Soulbright to go first. And she'll pile in a little bit just around to try and keep away from Lady Olynder, and then put all her attacks on the Guardian of Souls. I'll do all her attacks including her mount at the same time, because they're all D3 damage and the Ren doesn't matter, because she charged. So 7 attacks hitting on 3s, getting 4, and wounding on 3s. Only getting 1. That's about right for
4 plus. No.
D3 damage. 2.
Rory on 6s. No, he's gone. I'll pick a Lady Olynder to go. 3 attacks with the Staff of Midnight on 3s. They all hit. Wounding on 3s. 2 wounds.
Rend -2, so I do need to make both 5. Well, I need to make at least one 5+ save. Oh, I made 1, but it's D3 damage.
2.
Yeah, so Xandria's dead. I'll pick these Secretors down here to fight next. They would have had power to weapons on them. I forgot to mention that before. They don't have any shields left, so just pile in. 4 attacks on 3s, re-rolling. Well, they all hit, and we've got a 6, so that's 3 plus 2, 5. 5 hits, wounding on 3s. 3 wounds.
4 pluses. Made 2. So wounded guy ignores on a 6. No. And I don't think anyone else is in range, so another guy takes 1 damage. He goes. He takes a damage. Yeah, it's not the Hellwraith. I'll pick the Hextrace together. They're all going to attack the Lord Ordinator. 5 attacks, hitting on 4s with scythes, re-rolling 1s. Re-roll that 1. So that's just 3 hits. Still no mortal wounds on him. Wounding on 3s, getting 1.
5+ save. Made it.
And horses, 4s, re-rolling 1s, getting 2 hits. And 5s, no.
I'll do these Secretors over here. They've just piled in a bit, not bringing the Banshees in range. Great Maces, including the Prime, 3s, re-rolling, because we've got power to weapons. Good thing. No, it's only 2 hits. Wounding on 3s, just the 1.
4 plus, nope, so they're both dead.
Then we just got my remaining units. The Retributors are piled in, they could be picked because they charge. They don't get within an inch of Lady Olynder, but if I do this, then it means she can't charge something else next turn, which probably a good use of what I'm doing here, even if they get smushed. And we just got the Lord Ordinator and these Castigators to fight back with. Lord Ordinator, 6 attacks hitting on 4s. We've got 3. Wounding on 3s, we've got 3.
He's mad now. 4s.
Oh, no, that's 6 damage. And that's all my units done. And the end of the battle round. No battle shock tests necessary. So we'll be rolling off for battle round 3. I'll roll the 3.
I won the roll off, so I will carry on. I'm going to choose to go first.
So on to Nighthaunt turn 3.
So, start the hero phase. Lady Olynder gets to use her Lifting the Veil ability, which I'm going to use on the Lord Ordinator. On a 2 plus, he takes that many mortal wounds. He takes 6.
So he's dead 3 times over. And Lady Olynder heals that wound, because that did destroy a model.
Then I'm going to choose to do D6 mortal wounds to Australia Soulbright with her once per game ability. Just 1. Then I will spend 2 command points to bring back 2 Mindwall Banshees and the other Chain Ghast.
Yeah, so that's her command ability, and there's nowhere does it say you can't use the same command ability twice, nor that you can't use it twice with the same hero, so I assume she can do that.
Yep. Then she will try and cast Grief Stricken on the Retributors, needing a 7. Nope. And then she'll try and cast Fireball on something. Gets hit with a 12.
Well, I can't unbind that even if I wanted to, but I will save my unbind for that.
She'll put it on those 2 Secretors down the bottom.
Yeah, the leftmost objective.
D3, 2.
It kills one. Although, we will use Cycle to Storm to keep one alive, I suppose.
My movement, Lady Olynder is going to stay in melee. The Spirit Torment's going to move up to try and take the top bottom left objective. The 2 Chain Guards are going to follow up behind him, and the Marble Banshees are moving across to hopefully support Lady Olynder. Then Lady Olynder's got her Piercing Shriek, so we'll start at the bottom left. Got those Secretors, needing more than a 7. No. The Retributors, yes. D3 mortal wounds to the Retributors, 3.
Oh, kills one.
Estrella, no. Other Secretors, no.
So we just lose a Retributor.
Then the Chain Guards are going to shoot. They're going to shoot at the Secretors in the bottom left as well. 2d3 shots for 4. Hitting on 4s, re-rolling 1s. Getting 2. Wounding on 3s, 2.
6 to save?
Yeah.
Nope. So well, it just leaves 1 on 1 wound.
And the charge phase, the Spirit Torment will charge. 5. It's probably enough to get him somewhere. He'll go into that Secretor. The Mindmore Banshees will charge as well. I'm going to have to re-roll that with a command point. That's better. They'll charge to get 2 on Estrella and 2 into the Retributors.
So that brings us into the fight phase. I'll do power to weapons on that Secretor who's engaged.
And I will pick the Mindmore Banshees to go first. So I'll do the ones on Estrella. So they still have the extra attack from binding a spell. So this is 4 attacks hitting on 4s, re-rolling 1s. 2 hits, sorry. These wound on 3s, getting 2. Random -2.
So 5 plus saves for Estrella. She made 1. D3 wound.
D3, 2.
That's enough to kill her. Estrella soul rate goes down.
Then 4 attacks on the Retributors on 4s, re-rolling 1s. Getting 2 hits as well. Wounding on 3s. No.
I will do the Retributors before Lady Olynder pounds them into paste. So we'll just pile in like that. But they will put all their attacks on the Banshees because they're not likely to do much damage to Lady Olynder. 5 attacks on 3s, 6s cause 2 mortal wounds instead. 3 normal hits, which wound on 3s. They get 2 wounds.
4 pluses, made both. Then I will pick the Spirit Torment to go. 3 attacks hitting on 4s, re-rolling 1s. Getting 1 hit. Wounds on 3. He does.
6 to save. No.
Finally, Lady Olynder gets to go. 3 attacks with her staff, hitting on 3s, re-rolling 1s. They all hit. Wounding on 3s. Getting 2.
Rend -2, I believe.
Yeah.
So 6s for the Retributors. Made 1.
So that's D3. 3.
That kills the normal one then.
6 attacks from the Handmaidens on 4s, re-rolling 1s. 6s do mortal wounds. So you got a mortal wound, re-roll that 1. The rest all hit. Right. These move on 4s. Oh, there we go. Swings and roundabouts. Just a mortal wound to the Retributor Prime.
So this one is killed and the Prime is down to 2 wounds. That's all we're fighting, but the Retributor Prime needs to take a battle shock test, and I don't have any heroes around to keep him there. Still only fails on a 6, and I can re-roll it, but you never know. Oh, he's fine. Well, that will be the end of Nighthaunt turn 3, so we'll be on to Stormcast turn 3. So in my movement phase, the Secretors will move back towards the middle of the board, as have the Judicators. Lister continues to try and stay away from the Spirit Torment, and the Castigators have also moved back a little bit from him. But in the shooting phase, the Castigators are going to shoot with the Marmor Banshees. So, Prime hits on 2 as usual. We've got a miss, but he did. Oh yeah, no 6s. So 2 hits winning on 3s. Yep.
4 pluses. Failed both. Ignoring on a 6. Nope.
The Ballista will shoot at them as well. 4 shots on 5s, re-rolling. So re-roll all of that thanks to the Hailstorm Battery. Well, only 1 hit. D6 hits. 2. Wounding on 3s. 2.
4 pluses. Made both.
Now the Judicators will have to finish the job. We've got the Shockbolt Bow. It hit. D6 times. 3. Other shots. All hit. Wounding on 3s. And only 3 wounds.
4 pluses. Failed them all. Ignoring on 6s. I don't ignore any, so the Banshees are gone.
And in the charge phase, we've just got the Secretors to declare a charge. And they roll a 7. So they make their charge like that. And then no more charges, so straight to the fight phase, where they'll do power to weapons, and I'll pick them to fight. So they pile in around Lady Olynder, leaving a little bit of space, hopefully get the Retributor Prime in. Great Maces first, hitting on 3s, re-rolling. We've got 2 6s and some re-rolls. So 3 hits plus 2d3. Only 3 from that, so 6 hits. Wounding on 3s, just the 2.
4s. Made 1. Ignoring damage on 6s. No.
So 2 damage, down to 5 so far. 6 attacks from normal Stormsmite Mauls. On 3s, re-rolling. Re-roll like this. No. So 5 hits wounding on 3s. That's a bit better. 4, sorry.
4 pluses. Made 2. Ignoring on 6s. Oh, ignored 1. So she's down to 4. She'll put all of her attacks on the Secretors. 3 staff hits. Attacks hitting on 3s, so 2 hits. Wounding on 3s, 2 wounds.
6s re-rolling 1s to save. We can re-roll a 1. Nope, that's 2d3 damage.
6.
Oh, that's 3 dead.
Spectral Handmaidens, hitting on 4s, re-rolling 1, 6 to do mortal wounds. It's 1 hit and 3 1s. Getting 3 hits in total. And then wounding on 4s. No.
Do still lose all of the normal Storm Smite mauls. And then the Retributor Prime gets to go, so he'll just pile in. 3 attacks, hitting on 3s, 6s do 2 mortal wounds, so he hit once. No, hit twice, wounds on 3s, he does hit. He does 2 wounds.
4s, made both.
That's it for fighting. On to the Battle Shock phase, where the Spirit Tournament can heal Lady Olynder.
Yeah, back up to 7.
Yeah, because you killed 3 Stormpast. And then the Secretors have to take a Battle Shock test. Lost 3 in that attack, so we don't want to roll a 5 or a 6, but we can re-roll if we fail, so we need to do that. Phew. So it's actually still pretty close at the end of Stormcast turn 3. On to the next battle round. Rolling off. Yeah, you did win.
I won, so I'll choose to go first.
So on to Nighthaunt turn 4.
So Lady Olynder is going to use her, well, she has her lifting availability first, so I'm going to put it on the Adjudicators. So on a 2+, well, they take 6 mortal wounds.
So that's 3 of them dead. We'll lose everyone who isn't the Prime or the Shockbolt player.
Then for spellcasting, she'll try and cast Grief Stricken, needing a 7. Oh, she actually cast it. I'm going to put it on the Ballista.
So it's -1 to hit.
Yep. And then she's going to try and cast Fireball. Needing a 5, gets it with a 9. She will put it on... No, she'll put it on the Secretors in melee with her. For 3 mortal wounds.
Just leaves the Prime on 1 wound.
At the moment, the chain ghasts have moved up around, getting towards the objectives, and the Spirit Torment will move to get engaged with the Castigators. And Lady Olynder's going to stay in melee and just try and shriek those 2 guys to death. So, on the Secretor, no. On the Retributor, no. We're going to do the chain ghast. They're going to shoot at that Secretor Prime. 2d3 shots. 2, 3. Hitting on 4s, rolling 1s. Getting 2. Wounding on 3s. Getting 1.
6+ save. No, he's dead.
And in the charge phase, the Spirit Torment will charge. A 3 was all he needed.
Fortunately, that's enough.
I'll pick Lady Olynder to go first. She will pile in around the Retributor Prime, hitting him with her staff on 3s, rerolling 1s, getting 2 hits. Wounding on 3s, getting 1.
And a 6 to save. No.
D3 damage, 2.
He's dead. Well, let's see if these Castigators can do something to the Spirit Torment. 6 attacks hitting on 4s, 3 hits. Wounding on 4s as well, all 3 wounds.
4+ save, made 2. Wounding damage on a 6, yes. And he has 3 attacks on 4s, rerolling 1s. Good job he can reroll 1s. Getting 2. Wounding on 3s. Getting 1.
6 to save. Nope.
D3 damage. 2.
Kills one. We will kill this one. When Battle Shock phase, the Spirit Torment's not quite in range to heal that Chain Ghast, but these 2 Adjudicators need to take a Battle Shock test. They lost 3, so 5 or 6 is bad. Yeah, re-roll for being Order. Oh dear, they both run away because they're within 12 of Lady Olynder, so they lose 2 models. Actually, that would lose 2 models anyway, but that leaves that objective completely unattended as we go into Stormcast turn 4. And then at the end of the turn, the Nighthaunt take this objective over here because they have 3 models on it and the Stormcast only have 2. But then we're on to Stormcast turn 4. We need to do damage and take these objectives back, so the Ballista has just moved, so it is within 6 of this objective that the Nighthaunt have taken now. The Castigators in the shooting phase have to shoot the Spirit Torment, so they'll do that. 2 shots on 3s, rerolling 1s, or 2, well that's a 6 as well, so... Oh, it's only 1 hit, so 2 hits total. 3s to wound, 1.
4+. Made it.
Ballista needs to be shooting at him really because it's got -1 to hit now, so it's only hitting on 6s, rerolling 1s to 1s, 2s and 4s.
Well, apparently it doesn't matter.
Apparently it doesn't matter, no, 6s are good. Oh, 3 6s, right. Being sad doesn't affect them. 3d6 hits, 12. Wounding on 3s, that's 10 wounds.
10 4+, of which I made 4. Got to ignore some damage here. Oh, I only ignored 1, so he's actually killed. The Spirit Torment goes down.
And I think we need to declare a charge on those Chain Ghasts and try and kill that wounded one with the Castigators. Oh, they're going to need to roll about an 8 though. They roll a 12, they're in it. So the Castigators charge like that, and they have 4 attacks hitting on 4s. They got 2 hits, wounding on 4s, 1 wound.
4+. No. Ignoring it on a 6. No.
Does kill that wounded one.
Yep. Strike back with 2 attacks hitting on 4s. Getting 1. Wounds on a 3. It does.
5 to save. Oh, I did. That is important because I do regain control of this objective with 2 models to 1. Lady Olynder is not within 6. and it means I can count the ballista towards the middle objective, so that one remains in my hands. But that's the end of battle round 4, so rolling off for battle round 5. I rolled a 2.
I won the roll-off. I'll choose to go first.
On to Nighthaunt, turn 5.
Lady Olinder's going to lift the veil at the castigators. 2+. Takes 6 mortal wounds as well.
They're all dead.
She'll spend a command point to bring back a chain ghast. Then she'll try and cast Grease Stricken on the ballista, I suppose. Needing a 7, getting it with an 8. Not that it made much difference last time. And then she'll try and cast Arcane Bolt. Getting a 7, do a mortal wound to the ballista. So in my movement phase, the chain ghasts will run, and I will spend a command point to make it a 6, because I only roll a 3, but that gets them to the far right objective, or at least one of them in range of it. And then Lady Olinder's going to move so she's 3 inches away from the ballista. A Wail of the Damned at it, which doesn't do anything. Chain guards can't shoot because they ran. So in the charge phase, Olynder will charge the ballista. Oh no, she failed!
Oh, she did. Oh dear.
I don't think that makes much difference, so...
Oh, you haven't got any command points left.
No.
Yeah, that is unfortunate because it means that the Stormcast can definitely hold the leftmost objective, so I count the ballista towards that objective, meaning the Knight won't claim the other 2, and then it's on to the last Stormcast turn. There's a very, very small chance I could win if I can take the middle objective. To do that, I have to shoot Lady Olynder dead and then charge into the chain ghast and kill them with melee. But we're going to give it a go. So shooting Lady Olynder 4 times, hitting on 6s. Oh, no, it hits at all, so it's not going to be relevant. I can't possibly kill her. And then that's it, really. So the Nighthaunt hold 2 objectives. I could theoretically take the one on the far right by charging and killing the chain ghasts, but then Lady Olynder would take the one on the left. So I think however it's going to be, because she also can't take the one on the left while the ballista's standing there, it's going to be a draw, because the Nighthaunt hold 2 objectives, not 3, but I don't hold 2, so that is a draw. And yeah, we'll recap that game for you now. Well, that was the game from issue 72 of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Mortar Realms magazine. Wow, quite a game. What did you think of that?
Well, I will say at one point it didn't look like it was going to be a draw, and Lady Olynder certainly goes by the motto, if you want something done properly, you should do it yourself. Half my army did nothing, except explode, but then half your army died in shrieks of terror.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Because she put out so much damage with her lifting the veil ability that it didn't really matter. I do think there were some very clutch rolls in cases, like your Judicators running away or your Ballista getting 3 hits despite needing 6s.
Yeah, also the Lord Ordinator passing all of his 5+ saves, various places like that. I don't think you rolled too well for ignoring damage on 6s either, but
then, I rolled really well for lifting the veil, so I don't know how many mortal wounds Lady Olynder did, but it must be near mid-20s.
Yeah, well, I think she was probably in range 3 turns to do that, and every time she rolled a 6.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it swung wildly from, it looked like I had won after, like, turn 2, having destroyed your entire army, to now it looks like you're certainly going to win, and then it was a draw because you rolled a 2 on a charge, basically.
Although he did roll off camera, and she did fail to kill the ballista. I also completely forgot to use my Triumph or the Black Amulet again. Well, Lady Olynder was stealing the show. The Spirit format was just kind of there, and the Guardian of Souls died really early as well.
Having all of those Spirit Flasks was a flashback to some earlier games, but yeah, Lady Olynder wasn't having any of that.
Well, I imagine if that hadn't happened, I don't know how the game would have gone differently, but I imagine I just have had a lot more army left.
Well, the fact is she took damage on 2 separate occasions, and on both occasions she was healed.
Yeah.
I charged a full unit of Sequitors into her. They did 3 wounds and then disappeared, basically.
Yeah.
Those maybe piling in the Retributors into her to keep her in melee was a mistake, but I'm not sure it would have made a huge difference in the end. There were so many moments in that which could have gone one way or the other that it's kind of impossible to know what would have happened. All we know is what did happen. I think my shooting was also pretty good in that game. Actually, I did, destroying entire units with 3 shooting attacks.
Yeah, the Ballista's still a huge pain to get rid of.
And the Judicators, as usual, were quite effective. The Castigators did okay.
And I took the Mindmore Banshees just in case you decided to take the Cleansing Phalanx, but I still think they worked out in the end. Those extra attacks did help.
It was a kind of interesting scenario. It's the first symmetric scenarios. Well, more recently they seem to have been doing more asymmetric kind of scenarios where the sides have different victory conditions and like deployment like this, which is more interesting than what we had for a large amount of the magazine, which was just sort of kill everybody in the middle of the board or a couple of objectives that weren't really relevant.
I think it's quite a good way to show off Lady Olynder as well, because basically you can just sit in the middle and screech at everything.
Yes, the fact that I had to clump up around all those objectives meant that was more powerful than it might have been. And
I think that is one downside, I suppose, for Lady Olynder. She isn't really she's no more durable than Kodos Valentian or Reichenort. Only a 4+ save and 7 wounds isn't that much, considering she's like the faction leader. It is a little bit risky. Well, I thought it was a risk. Apparently it's not. She just obliterates everything that comes near her.
Yes, and my Secretors didn't roll as well as they have done in some occasions.
I'm pretty sure across the whole game you rolled below average for wound rolls at the very least. You certainly hit a lot. And should also say that Lady Olynder is a really good value for money as well, again, like Curse Valentians. Again, another £25-ish character that comes with one magazine, so definitely would have been worth picking up. And she still seems pretty good in 3rd edition as well.
And I do think she's a good model as well. She's a very kind of characterful model for the leader of the Nighthaunt. She's not actually big in the sense that she is just sort of a normal human-sized ghost, but having the big kind of all the wavy hair and spook streaming out.
And I like the vines coming. So it's like vines are coming out as she hoovers along. Although like other Nighthaunt, she's particularly fragile, I would have said, for a Nighthaunt, because she's pretty wobbly if you pick her up, only suspended on that one bit of spook. And her handmaidens as well aren't terribly sturdy, and that vine beneath her did actually snap at one point, and I had to glue it back on. And her staff is pretty thin as well, so it's all a bit flimsy.
Yeah, you'd have to be very careful transporting her as well, I think. Yeah, because she's not going to fit nicely in any package.
You'd have to go for like a magnetised figure case, a tall one as well.
Yeah.
It wouldn't put her in a foam box, she'd just break apart, I think.
Well, that's it, I think, though, for this episode and this game. So let us know your thoughts on the game in particular. Let us know what you thought of all of that. Your thoughts on Lady Olynder and so forth. If you enjoyed the video, then do leave a like and subscribe. And leave any comments, as I said. We've been the Tabletop Donkeys, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye for now.